Good morning, gorgeous. How are you ladies doing this morning? I hope you're all doing wonderful. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're here for the first time, welcome. I'm Dr. Daph. And today we're doing an episode of Finer Wives, teaching you to be a finer wife for yourself, for your husband, and for God. And I have a very exciting video today about only three, secret ways that you can enhance your marriage today. Things that you can literally start doing today that you will start to see your marriage blossom from. And we're specifically going to touch on physical, emotional, and spiritual. So one from each part of the whole that makes your husband and your marriage. So I'm excited about this. I want you to go ahead and sit back, relax, get something to drink, get something to write with, and let's talk about this. As you know, my content focuses on femininity, you leaning back into your womanhood and allowing yourself to be vulnerable, be humble, be in a place where you can feel and where you can listen to the things that you feel and act from there. Femininity is all about the neck down. It's all about taking time to feel the things that we sometimes pass right over. So I want you to just take a second and I want you to think about your husband and think about your interactions with him. Watch him mentally in your mind and tell me how you feel. How do you feel when you think about your husband? Do you feel excited? Do you feel a little bit confused? Do you feel anxiety? Do you feel love? Do you feel scared? Do you feel confusion? What comes into mind when you start thinking about how you feel? Maybe when you think about your husband, you feel a sense of like butterflies. You're still in that place, thank God, where you experience a sensation. Or maybe you feel nothing when you think about your husband. And that's why we're here today. Because if you're in a place where your marriage is on the rocks or you feel hopeless, you just know that the Lord is with you. God restores and redeems marriages, and He will show up for you and your marriage when you seek Him and also apply things that He has given us wisdom to learn about. So today I'm talking about physical, emotional, and spiritual ways that you can enhance your marriage today. And some of you may be thinking, why do I have to do all the work? Why do I have to be the one to grind this whole thing out and restore the marriage? Why do I have to care? And the thing behind that is, as women, we're relational beings. We do care more. Now, it's not to say that men don't care, because they do. But we're the ones that are constantly thinking about it. Things are constantly bothering us. For men, a lot of times they feel certain things, but they may not know what it is that they're feeling or why they're feeling that way. Whereas we understand exactly what is causing the issues to happen. And because when men marry us, we're the ones as women who nurture that relationship. We nurture the marriage. And unfortunately, we do live in a society that tells us that it's all about us, and we're the ones that are supposed to just be laid back in marriage and everything works out perfectly, but that's not true. When you get married, it is a commitment, it's a covenant, and it's also an ongoing working relationship. You are constantly having to maintain that marriage. And it's not a matter of who's putting in more work. It's a matter of you doing your best and allowing the Lord to heal and help you get through whatever it is that's happening at that moment, day by day, by day by day. It's not easy, but it's also not about you. And with the divorce rates being so high, I think part of it is these hard conversations. And they are hard because marriage is so touchy. And as soon as we start talking about it, we start feeling all kinds of things. Our stomachs start tightening up. We start getting more anxious. Our shoulders start curling in. Because depending on where you are in your marriage right now, what season you're in your marriage, what state you're in, what's just happened this morning, what happened last week, you could be anywhere. You could be on high for your husband, or you could literally not want to see his face, right? So when we talk about marriage, a lot of feelings come up. And this world tells us that you're in it for you. But the truth is, you're in marriage to serve. Your marriage is a place of your service. And it's supposed to resemble the service that Jesus has with us. It's long-suffering, it's long-going, it's a beautiful commitment. But it's not a place for you to just sit back, relax, and feel like you don't have to do anything and it should just work out. And I'm saying this also for those of you who are here and you're not married and you have a certain fantasy about what marriage is supposed to be like from the movies. This is why marriages tend to fall apart, is because we don't talk about some of the more difficult things that we're going to talk about today. So we'll take it slow. The first thing we're going to talk about is the emotional piece. If you want to enhance your marriage today, then you must be willing, my love, to look at the emotional side of your husband. Men tend to be more closed off emotionally, but they need so much emotionally. When men go from little boys to grown men, they go from being nurtured and loved and adored to being put in a place where they're responsible for so many things, where they don't get a lot of attention. They don't get a lot of warmth from people. The person that they really get it from is you, their wife, maybe their mother, if their mother is still alive, and sometimes their children. But really, men lose a lot of that emotional space where they're allowed to be free with their emotions, explore them, because they're busy, they're working, they're providing, they're thinking, they're solving problems, they're putting their needs emotionally on hold for the sake of survival. So you can enhance your marriage by tapping into your husband's emotions. And you can do that in a lot of different ways. But one way is, when your husband is talking to you about something, whether it's about his day or whether it's about something he read on Instagram or saw on TV or something he saw in a movie, and he's feeling emotionally charged about it, or he has very strong opinions on it, is to just listen. Just be there and allow him to speak, allow him to get his emotions out without challenging them, without trying to convince him of your feelings, your emotions, without spilling your issues on it, allowing him to just share. Where this can become a little bit deeper in your marriage, that's very surface level. But when we talk about getting a little deeper and enhancing your marriage, you may need to apologize to your husband. This is something that is deep and may involve you getting some counseling or talking it out with people, definitely talking to God. But there have been so many things, if you have dated for a while, some people, they'll date for just a couple months and get married, right? But other people will date for years, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, and then get married. There's a lot of history there. There's a lot of things that have happened. And if you've been married for even a year, 5 years, 10 years, there's a lot that's happened. And because of that, it's important that you're able to seek your husband out and apologize for things that you could have done to have upset him, to have hurt him. When men get hurt emotionally in a marriage or in a relationship, they put up a wall. they say, okay, she can't come here anymore. We're not going to talk about this anymore. And it's not like a wall that goes all around them. It's a wall that goes around certain topics, certain situations because of the way you reacted or because of something you did or something you said. And because of that, the relationship starts to just change and not feel as intimate. And you, my dear, probably recognized when that shift happened.
As a psychologist, mental health is very near and dear to me, and I want to thank BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get started, you just need to answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you can talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. You can also message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. If your therapist isn't the right fit for you for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist with no additional charge. With BetterHelp, you can get the same professionalism and quality that you expect from an in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom-picked for you. You will have more scheduling flexibility at a more affordable price. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/Dr. Michelle. And I've also linked it in the description below. Again, that's betterhelp.com/Dr. Michelle. BetterHelp.com/Dr. Michelle. Thank you so much, BetterHelp, for sponsoring this video.
It's up to you to face that situation by apologizing. Now, this apology can be done in many different ways. You can write your husband a letter. You can send your husband a voice note. You can speak to him face to face, which is the most intimate and intense way, but it's definitely an option. Writing it down, I think, is really nice because you get to really just kind of unload without being affected by the way he's reacting to what you're saying. But you can talk about whatever it is that you've done. As you are in your marriage, you grow, you learn, and you change. But unfortunately, the other person, your husband, may be keeping score. He shouldn't be, but he could be. He's a human. Or maybe he's just wrote things off completely for you, even if you've changed, because there hasn't been acknowledgement of those things on your end. So it may take you actually saying, I'm so sorry for being so disrespectful towards you at the beginning of our marriage. I'm so sorry that I was going out all the time and not considering your feelings for the last 5 years. Or I apologize for not being emotionally available to you because of the death of my brother for the last 2-3 years. Whatever it is that you know you have done that has upset the marriage, apologizing for it and waiting for his reaction and then meeting him in that place. So you're not just going to apologize and then it's gone. There may be some backlash from that. There may be some vomiting that comes from him. He may just receive it and say, wow, thank you. Or he may have something to say about it. It may bring up more issues, but you have to be in a place where you're not just apologizing to apologize. You are deeply sorrowful about, like, you are repenting. You are turning away from ever being like that again. And you're telling him that you recognize your faults and you're in a place now where you want to just be better. He will appreciate that vulnerability, that honesty from you, and it will enhance your marriage. The best advice I can give you in this area is to pray about it and ask God to help you say it the right way, give you the right timing. The Lord will give you the right timing. He will allow the perfect opportunity to come up for you to hand him that letter or send that voice note. Don't do it on your own. Lean on God and allow God to show you when the best time is. And when that moment comes, take advantage of it. Don't overthink it and just give it to him. And allow him to be able to feel, because men also need to feel. They also have a feminine piece that they have to tap into that they don't usually get to tap into. So give him that privacy and that time to feel. Many men have experienced so many abuses, whether they experience actual child abuse as a little boy, whether they've experienced abuse as a teenager, while being on a sports team, while being in part of a church group, maybe at their job. They've experienced hurts and some traumas even that they have to sort of work out day to day to day. And your behavior can really make those traumas more intense for them. And a lot of times they have never talked about it with you. They've never opened up about it with you, but they're there. And people will sometimes say, well, it's not your job to fix his traumas or to be his therapist or to let him unload all of his life problems on you. And I don't agree with that. If you're dating a man, yeah, it's not your job to be his therapist. Absolutely not. When you are his wife, everything is different. You are his partner. You are one with him. And it is your job to listen to his traumas and listen to his stories and his emotions and his history. It's important for you to know these things because they will affect you and they will affect your children. So again, it's service, it's love, it's unconditional love. And it's important that men are able to have the space and the opportunity to share their feelings, their emotions, and deal with the many things that this marriage could be pressing into from their past. So it will be a blessing to you and to your husband for you to tap into the emotional side and be a little bit softer with him, a little bit more understanding with him. Give him the floor and let him share without interrupting, without putting your emotions into it. And your marriage will be enhanced.